There's a moment, small, almost invisible, that happens dozens of times a day in millions of homes. You get up from the couch. Maybe you're just going to the kitchen for a glass of water. Maybe you're heading down the hall for 30 seconds. And before you've even fully stood up, there's movement. A head lifts, a body shifts. 4 paws hit the floor. And just like that, your dog is right behind you, as if your movement sent a signal only they could hear. Most people smile at it. Some find it a little funny. A few wonder quietly whether it means something they should be concerned about. But here's the thing. Almost nobody stops to ask the deeper question. Why does your dog follow you from room to room? Not just out of habit, not just because they're bored. But what's actually happening in your dog's mind in that moment when they decide to get up and come with you? Because it turns out the answer reaches back thousands of years and says something profound about who you are to them. Long before your dog ever knew the comfort of a warm floor and a full bowl, their ancestors survived by one unbreakable rule: stay close to the pack. In the wild, wolves didn't wander away from each other casually. Separation meant vulnerability. It meant exposure to predators, loss of resources, the slow erosion of social bonds that kept the group functional and alive. Proximity wasn't just pleasant, it was protective. It was survival encoded into behavior. That primal awareness, the constant, low-level tracking of where the most important members of the group are, became hardwired into canine psychology over millennia. And through thousands of years of domestication, something fascinating happened. That ancient instinct didn't disappear. It didn't fade as dogs moved from forests to living rooms. It simply redirected. The pack became a family. The den became a house. And the most important figure in the group, the one whose movements mattered most, whose safety was instinctively monitored, became you. So when your dog rises to follow you into the next room, understand that the impulse driving that behavior is old. Genuinely old. It's not a quirk. It's not clinginess. It's an ancient code running quietly in the background of every moment you share. If your dog gets up immediately when you do, no hesitation, no lag, here's what's really happening beneath that seamless response. Dogs are extraordinarily attuned to the micro signals humans give off before movement. A shift in weight, a change in breath, the particular way you uncross your legs right before you stand. Your dog has cataloged all of it. Researchers call this anticipatory behavior, the ability to read intention before action. When your dog is already moving as you rise, they're not reacting to you leaving. They're responding to the idea of you leaving. That's not just attentiveness. That level of attunement only develops in relationships built on deep, sustained observation. Then there's a different version of this you might recognize. The dog who doesn't leap up immediately, who watches you go, waits a beat, and then quietly appears wherever you've settled next. This is sometimes misread as indifference. It isn't. What you're seeing is a dog who is secure enough in the bond to not need to be attached at the hip, but connected enough to keep closing the distance. It's confident attachment. The equivalent of a person who doesn't need to hold your hand every second, but always finds their way back to the same room as you. That quiet migration is its own kind of devotion. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some dogs position themselves specifically at thresholds, doorways, hallways, the top of the stairs. At first glance it looks random, or maybe like they're just in the way. They're not. A dog stationed at a threshold can monitor 2 spaces simultaneously. They're not following you into a room. They're choosing the point where they lose the least amount of information about your location. From a behavioral science perspective, this is active spatial tracking. Your dog mentally mapping the house around your position in real time. They are, in the most literal sense, keeping watch. You might have also noticed the dog who follows specifically during times of transition, morning routines, before you leave the house, when someone new arrives. This isn't coincidence. Dogs are highly sensitive to disruption in pattern, and they respond to uncertainty the same way their ancestors did, by staying close to the most stable figure in the environment. In those moments, your dog isn't escalating anxiety. They're regulating it, using your presence the way we use a deep breath or a familiar voice. You are, neurologically speaking, their anchor point. Now, there's something most owners don't realize about this. The following behavior actually intensifies in proportion to how much the dog trusts you, not how anxious they are. A dog who follows a stranger gets tense, watchful, stilted. A dog who follows you moves fluidly, relaxed in their body, tail loose. The following isn't fear dressed up as affection. In a secure dog, it's affection that simply cannot imagine a reason to stay behind. What all of these variations share: the immediate shadow, the quiet. Migration, the threshold guardian, the transition follower, is something that goes deeper than routine or habit. Each one is an expression of chosen connection. Your dog has free will within the space of your home. They could stay on the couch, they could sleep, they could find a sunbeam in another room entirely. And yet, again and again, they choose the room you're in. That is not nothing. That is, in fact, everything. Studies have shown that dogs experience measurable reductions in cortisol, the primary stress hormone, simply from proximity to their person. Not from treats, not from play, but from nearness. From being in the same space as you. What this means, practically, is that your presence is physiologically regulating to your dog. You calm their nervous system just by existing nearby. Think about that for a moment. You are, biochemically, a safe place. And this is the part that surprised researchers. The regulation works in both directions. Human cortisol levels also drop in the presence of a bonded dog. The following behavior isn't a one-way dependency. It's a co-evolved synchrony. Two nervous systems, shaped by thousands of years of living alongside each other, finding equilibrium together. Scientists sometimes call this affect attunement, the mirroring of emotional states between bonded individuals. It's the same phenomenon observed between securely attached parents and children. Your dog isn't just near you. They are with you in a way that has real, measurable biological meaning. Know that when your dog rises and follows you, for the 100th time today, without ceremony, without asking anything in return, you are seeing the fullest possible expression of their comfort. You did that. Your presence made that possible. It's worth addressing something that comes up for some owners. The worry that the following is a sign of anxiety, of a dog who can't be alone, of something that needs to be fixed. And the honest answer is, context matters. A dog who follows calmly, who can settle when you do, who handles your departures with relative ease, that dog is simply bonded. The following is healthy attachment expressing itself in the most natural way it knows. The key word there is calmly. If the following is accompanied by persistent distress, panting, pacing, vocalizing, destructive behavior when you leave, then it's worth a conversation with a veterinary behaviorist. Not because the following itself is the problem, but because distress is always worth addressing. For most dogs and most owners though, what you're living with isn't a problem at all. It's a relationship. One your dog is actively, continuously choosing. So what is your dog really telling you when they follow you from room to room? Simply this: you are where safe is. Not the house. Not the food bowl. Not the familiar smell of home. You. You are the location they are always trying to be near. In the oldest, quietest language they have, before words, before training, before any of the ways we've tried to understand each other across species, your dog is saying, wherever you go, that's where I want to be. You are their still point, their certainty in a world full of variables they can't fully parse. They are telling you, in that ancient, wordless way, that they choose you. They choose you every single time they get up and follow. And honestly, after a long day, isn't that one of the most extraordinary things anyone has ever said? Thanks for watching. If you loved learning about your furry best friend, be sure to like and subscribe for more.